l'Arma dei Carabinieri ha da tempo avviato un programma di iniziative finalizzate a diffondere la conoscenza delle lingue straniere tra il proprio personale. Ciò in funzione di numerosi obiettivi, quali favorire l'inserimento dell'istituzione nel contesto internazionale in vista del traguardo europeo del 1992, proseguire nella qualificazione, già in fase avanzata, di personale destinato a prestare servizio in Alto Adige in ottemperanza al disposto legislativo sul bilinguismo nella regione. Incentivare gli scambi di carattere amministrativo con le gendarmerie e polizie dei paesi europei, per i quali è indispensabile la conoscenza delle rispettive lingue. Consentire ai militari che dovranno essere impiegati su tutto il territorio nazionale in occasione degli impegni istituzionali connessi al campionato mondiale di calcio che si svolgerà in Italia nel prossimo mese di giugno, di perfezionare la conoscenza delle lingue straniere, acquisire preziose condizioni sulle terminologie tecnico-professionali e creare rapporti interpersonali di amicizia e cameratismo con gli appartenenti alle forze di polizia europee. Per il raggiungimento di tali obiettivi sono stati organizzati corsi basici di aggiornamento e di perfezionamento della lingua tedesca, qualificando dal 1987 ad oggi circa 500 militari, e delle lingue inglese, francese, spagnola e portoghese per 1048 unità complessive. Sono stati inoltre programmati stage in Francia, Gran Bretagna, Spagna, Austria e Svizzera per militari in possesso di un buono ed ottimo livello di conoscenza linguistica. Nel corso degli stage il personale verrà anche inviato in qualità di osservatore presso vari reparti di polizia. In particolare, lo stage che i Carabinieri stanno svolgendo qui a Bramshill rappresenta la prima vera occasione di incontro e di scambio di esperienze professionali con gli appartenenti alla polizia britannica che, oltre ai risultati di carattere didattico, consentirà di consolidare i rapporti di collaborazione tra le nostre due istituzioni. È previsto che questa collaborazione, che già sta dando ottimi frutti, continui con l'invio al Polistaff College nella prossima estate gli ufficiali dei Carabinieri che seguiranno, a conclusione del loro quadriennio formativo, uno stage i cui lineamenti sono ora in corso di definizione.
Thank you very much. The Italian Carabinieri have formulated a strategy which they hope will lead to an increase in training exchanges between European police forces, with 1992 very much in their minds. The World Cup finals to take place in Italy this summer have presented an opportunity to send contingents of officers to a number of different countries in order to improve their language skills and to develop a better understanding of the countries from which supporters will be coming. Included amongst those countries are Austria, France, Spain, Germany and England. As part of its own programme aimed at encouraging international police cooperation through training, Police Staff College, Bramshill, is coordinating the British contribution to this initiative in collaboration with 10 British police forces. 50 officers from Italy arrived at Bramshill on the 12th of March, where they are spending 2 weeks developing their use of the English language, immersing themselves in English culture, and learning about British legal and policing systems and relationships between the police and the public of this country. This will include an explanation of the place of football within English society and information about policing football matches in this country. Then, in groups of 5, they will be attached to police forces which have agreed to show their visitors a whole range of policing activities and involve them in English life in general. English-speaking officers from each of the 10 forces are already working with their Italian colleagues here at Bramshill. The 10 forces involved are the West Yorkshire Police, Greater Manchester Police, Hampshire Constabulary, Merseyside Police, Metropolitan Police, Northumbrian Police, Nottinghamshire Constabulary, Thames Valley Police, West Midlands Police, and the British Transport Police. The Italian Carabinieri officers have been drawn from all over Italy and carry out a wide range of policing functions in their own country. On their return, they will become part of a pool of English-speaking Carabinieri who will carry out many different tasks in support of foreign visitors. The Carabinieri hope that by these methods they will be better equipped now and for the future in looking after visitors from all over the world. This is the first time that Britain has taken part in a training exercise of this kind, and it will be studied with great interest to see whether the provisions of international training can help to solve some of the problems of policing Europe in the future, and in this instance, of policing large-scale international events.
Desidero in questa sede rivolgere, a nome del Comando Generale dell'Arma dei Carabinieri, il più vivo ringraziamento alla direzione del Police Staff College e a tutto il personale docente per la calorosa accoglienza riservata ai nostri militari e per l'efficiente organizzazione dello stage, premessa indispensabile per il consolidamento della nostra collaborazione con loro.
On behalf of the Carabinieri General Headquarters, I would like to express my most sincere gratitude to the Police Staff College for the warm welcome given to our men and for the efficient organization of the course, which are necessary for beginning future collaboration.
Gentlemen, if you're not up to address any questions you have to any of us on here, we will do our best to answer you.
Can I ask how the various countries are chosen for these visits? You mentioned Austria, France, Germany.
E sono stati scelti questi paesi perché sono quelli più rappresentativi per il perfezionamento delle lingue rispettive, cioè la Spagna per lo spagnolo, la Gran Bretagna per l'inglese, l'Austria per la Svizzera per il tedesco e la Francia per il francese. Abbiamo preso contatti preventivi con le forze di polizia, hanno dato offerto a tutti la loro massima disponibilità e quindi abbiamo organizzato in questo senso gli iscritti presso quelle organizzazioni.
We've chosen these countries because they represent most of the most popular languages in Europe. Of course, the respective countries: France for French, Spain for Spanish, Austria for German, and so forth.
Was Holland ever considered?
Ancora no, in questa fase ancora no.
No, not yet. At this phase, not yet.
I mean, I ask that question because of their reputation for violence.
Perhaps Mr. George to address that to you.
Yes, I can tell you that there has been consultation between the Italian police authorities, the Ministry of the Interior and the Dutch police authorities. So whilst they may not be included on that list, certainly there has been dialogue and cooperation between Holland and the Italians. I was present during those meetings.
Is English... Sorry.
Colonel, how well prepared do you think the authorities of the police in Sardinia are?
Perhaps as an independent assessment again, having visited Sardinia, I'm more than confident that they are well prepared, that the planning arrangements are geared towards providing a safe and an enjoyable atmosphere for the bulk of genuine football supporters that will be going to that part of Italy.
John over there.
I just wondered, was English the priority language for you because of the possibility of trouble from the English hooligans?
soltanto un problema addestrativo. Cioè noi abbiamo scelto la Gran Bretagna per poter approfondire la conoscenza della lingua, delle terminologie tecnico-professionali, indipendentemente dall'aspetto operativo. Quindi noi siamo qui per esigenze addestrative e non operative. Tengo a precisare che riteniamo estremamente importante l'aspetto addestrativo, cioè la conoscenza da parte del nostro personale delle lingue, perché sappiamo che dovremo ricevere molte persone che parleranno lingue diverse, francese, inglese, spagnolo, eccetera, e noi dobbiamo essere pronti ad accoglierle con la massima disponibilità, quindi essere in condizioni di poter parlare ed essere compresi dalle persone.
The most important aspect of our stay in Italy is that of learning how to speak well the language, of communicating with the English. And this is most important. We are here only for training, only to be trained, only to learn how to speak well the language, because we will be receiving so many English tourists in Italy, people who will need our help. Therefore, we are putting our men in condition to learn all those technical and judicial terminology which they'll need to help English and other foreign speakers visitors to Italy.
I understand that the officers went to a football match on Saturday. Is that correct?
Yes, the Italians did go to see a local football match at Reading, but this was just purely a part of learning the culture, and not really to look at football as such.
Could we just ask what the reaction was? I think the game in Reading on Saturday.
Well, it was a good match, third division match. I was not expecting more than a normal match in Grand Britain. There was no problem already. Many supporters, more supporters that we can find in Italy too, and I enjoy my time all the time.
Wouldn't say it was boring, yeah.
No, not. It was not boring. We have more boring games in Italy. It was a good, a good match.
But English fans have such a fearsome reputation.
Well, but in Reading, I know that British fans have some, strange reputation, but not only English. I mean, there's some problem in Italy, well, everywhere in Europe. But in Reading, it was a normal match. No problems.
Are there plans to go to a bigger ground, say a first division match?
David?
Yes, there are plans for our colleagues when they visit police forces. They will go, as we said earlier, to fines. There are plans for them to visit many grounds, all over the country. There are plans for them to visit many grounds all over the country. It might be worth mentioning that the Reading visit on Saturday was fully intended to be a social visit, until, of course, you and your colleagues became aware that was taking place. It was an invitation from our local football club in this area for us to go and visit them purely socially for the afternoon. Having negotiated this course with our colleagues, I think this might be an opportunity to say that there has never been any intention at all that this particular experience had any connection with training for football hooliganism. They've been very clear to us in their requirements. Their requirement is to train officers from all over Italy in many different cultures, many different languages, to look after the millions of people who will turn up there in a perfectly normal and happy way.
But they are going to have to deal with hooligans, aren't they?
The Italian police in general are going to have to deal with hooligans if hooligans are a problem for them. The purpose of this visit is cultural, it is language, and it is to deal with the 99.9% of police activity, not the 0.01 that remains.
But they will be involved with England fans who go to the World Cup.
Some of them may never see an English fan, some of them may never visit an English football match.
How many of them are from Sardinia, of the 50?
I believe there are 2.
How many will be in Sardinia when you
At this stage, my colleagues informed me that it was impossible for them to say, but if I give you the sense of a pool of officers, centrally based, to go wherever the English tongue is the requirement, that's the picture that we have.
Are there any more questions? Otherwise, we'd like to call points.
Can I just ask, do the Italian police football matches differently in the way the English league do?
Perhaps Mr. George can do
Do they have a different approach?
No, the methods of policing football are not dissimilar from ours, and they command it by one level of command that then disseminates down to different sectors of the ground. So it's not dissimilar to our own method.
Having studied in any depth here the peculiarities of the English sort of sport, has that been looked into?
That is not a subject that we are actually going to concentrate on the training for these officers whilst they're at college.
And the reason that I said yes very quickly is very simple. Yes, of course, knowing what the English football supporter is about is very much part of the culture that they are here to involve themselves in. It is obvious that some of that will involve the activities of the few, but that is purely background, it is not for operational training. They will not be operationally deployed in connection with English football supporters in Italy.
Mention was made of understanding the technical and traditional terminology of English tourists or English-speaking tourists. Will this involve going to learning slang and what have you in different parts of the country, like people in Newcastle speak somewhat differently to people down this part of the country?
Perhaps I can cover that for you. The position is that the first week while they've been here has solely concentrated on improving their language ability, and of course part of that training was to pick up some of the slang expressions and colloquialisms which they need to know.
Such as?
But I personally wasn't involved in the language training. Unfortunately, we haven't got the language teacher with us here, but obviously they will pick up further information whilst they're making their visits to various police forces and various officers.
It sounds fascinating that you can't give any examples of what they've been there.
Is there any example of a piece of slang that one of the Italian gentlemen has learned?
Well, for example, I know that if you want to arrest a person, you say, okay, I want to arrest you, but now I know that if one says, I nick you, okay, it means I arrest you. Quick one, on that. Okay?
Well, have you been taught the expression, you're nicked?
You're nicked. I know that you're nicked, it means that you are arrested.
So someone in Sardinia might suddenly have a Carabinieri hand on his shoulder and you're nicked.
So I think, although it uses those euphemisms and sort of in a light-hearted way, it won't detract from the means of administering the law as they're taught. It won't affect that.
Could we just
One more question.
Give us some idea of, what sort of penalties British would face alongside
I can't tell you the penalties. I really, that is outside my preference. But I can tell you that the Italian police will not tolerate anything that interferes with the quality of life of the local people and the genuine football fan. But their main strategy is designed at making it as comfortable and as safe an environment for the bulk of those genuine fans that will be there. But they will not tolerate drunkenness or antisocial behaviour that interferes with the quality of life.
By asking Brigadier, are you looking forward to the English Cup this summer?
Perhaps my colleague...
Excuse me, can you repeat the question, please?
Are you looking to sum up? Are you looking forward to the English Fans Cup?
Well, of course, we're looking forward to the fans who come to Italy because they're going to come to Italy to have a good time, like the Italian fans, like the Dutch fans, like the German fans, and so on. So we're looking forward to it because I think it will be also a positive experience for us.
Who's going to win the World Cup?
Gentlemen, I think we must stop there. Thank you very much indeed.
Can we have the cones first?
The first taste of English football for the Italian police was last Saturday at Reading, a far cry from what they'll experience in the summer. Determined and coordinated policing across Europe will be needed to defeat the hooligans.
The Italian police have been visiting soccer grounds in the south this week as part of their preparations for the World Cup. They want to study football fans' behaviour and at the same time brush up on their English. This report from Peter Henley.
If the Italians were hoping to slip into the football match unnoticed, they picked the wrong disguise. The Carabinieri put our British policemen in the shade with their designer suits and sunglasses. They're here to study the football hooligan, and the 60 top policemen ventured onto Elm Park's terraces to soak up the third division atmosphere. Police use closed-circuit television to monitor the crowd, but there's very little trouble, thanks to careful policing and Reading's computerised membership scheme. The Italians watched with interest. But was Elm Park the right place to learn about hooligans?
Well, what better place to come than a club that doesn't have any problems? It's the methods that we've introduced here that help us not to have the problems, and I think it's the methods that they're interested in.
If they can have an understanding of some of the insights into the way that we police football here, it will better equip them to assist, and I use the word assist quite deliberately, the English fans when they go to Sardinia.
The top of that league at the minute is Aston Villa.
Today there was some vital background information on our national sport in a lecture from the Chief Police Officer in charge of Britain's policy on football crowd control. The Italians are staying at the college for our top policemen at Bramshill in Hampshire. They've come from all over Italy. Although some of them have been abroad before.
I've studied in Australia, did all my schooling there.
National loyalties won't be in dispute when the English fans arrive in Sardinia for the World Cup this summer. The Union Jack seems to attract violence when football fans travel abroad, as at the last World Cup in Mexico. But the Italians are making it clear they won't tolerate antisocial behaviour. Their preparations are intricate. On this visit, language tuition included the use of slang. One officer said he learned the useful phrase, "I nick you."
Now I know that if one said, "I nick you," okay, it means I arrest you. Before I didn't know that.
Peter Henley, Coast to Coast, Bramshill.
The Sports Minister, Colin Moynihan, says it's inevitable that soccer hooligans will cause trouble at this summer's World Cup in Italy. There's particular concern that genuine British fans could be a target for Italian hooligans, wanting revenge for the Heysel Stadium disaster. Italian police officers are in Britain to study ways of combating soccer violence on an international scale.
Specific intelligence has been picked up from Italy that gangs there are treating the World Cup as the first opportunity for revenge for the deaths at Heysel. The new National Football Intelligence Unit in London is weighing up all the threats. It's known that Dutch and English fans have already met to organise fighting in the summer. Officers from the Italian Carabinieri are in England studying our police methods. They belong to one of 4 separate law enforcement agencies who will be operating in Sardinia, where England are based. Some police sources are extremely worried about the venue. Up to 30,000 rival fans will be on the island, which has little experience of hooliganism. A shop in the capital, Cagliari, openly sells knives, machetes, tear gas and other weapons. So far, it hasn't even been agreed to close it during the World Cup. All such problems are discussed at regular meetings of government, police and football representatives. The latest took place today, with the government insisting everything which can be done to head off trouble is being done.
I don't think there's anything more that we can do. We've been working on this now for over a year, and I do recognise that the chances that we can give you a 100% guarantee that nothing is going to happen will be pie in the sky and ridiculous. We must just assist the Italian authorities and do that to the utmost of our ability.
The first taste of English football for the Italian police was last Saturday at Reading, a far cry from what they can expect in the summer. Only determined and coordinated policing across Europe will defeat the hooligans.